All right, so actually what I'm testifying about is the police concerns. We have the mayor, we met with the mayor, and he said, look, we can put the police in, so we met with them over several months to see what their concerns were, so that, because they were going to report back to the mayor to say what they thought. So after those set of meetings, we took their concerns and we have what we call a response to those concerns here. And I'd like to talk about them right now. All right, so one of the things that we talked about is that certain provisions would keep them from doing legitimate investigations of criminal activity. In particular, the prohibition of pretext stops. For those of you who don't know, pretext stops is when they really are pulling somebody over for something, like either they think they have drugs or something else, or they think something else, but they pull them over for a habit or something. And so the thing of it is that the ordinance is worded very carefully to allow for stops and investigations to occur so long as there is reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. So reasonable suspicion of likely probable cause is a very low standard of evidence defined in warrants that the belief, based on some articulable facts, that the person in question has been or is thought to be involved in criminal activity. An officer cannot articulate the facts to support a hunch. He or she should not stop this an individual. So that's the pretext stops. The other part is about surveillance. They also just need reasonable suspicion. They can't just do it for no reason. And the other part, they also said there were some parts of the CSA that were unnecessary because they don't do it. They just don't. Things like infiltrating groups practicing free speech, prohibiting officers from photographing juveniles in certain circumstances, and prohibiting officers from inquiring about individuals' immigration status. Well, whether department heads know or not, this is something that's done quite often in these things, as you heard the story earlier, by the force. And then the other thing is that we asked, the department claims that they don't engage in these activities, then there should be no problem in creating policy to reflect that. Police also said that some provisions were either too costly or too burdensome to carry out. For instance, they said that the standardized account form was sort of a pain in the butt and it would cost more money, but they actually have to get all that data because the state law was passed recently on these issues. And so they're already collecting the data in New York is getting received easily enough. The other section we talked about was requiring to call a supervisor prior to performing certain searches, like for gender searches or other searches. And we stated very clearly in the ordinance that when practicable is when they can call a supervisor for these searches. So it's not if an officer feels like he's threatened or immediately does a little bit more. The other section that requires the department to establish language access policies so as not to discriminate against admitted English proficient individuals. Well, the 1964 Civil Rights Act requires institutions receiving federal money to enact language access policies. The U.S. Department of Justice has already enforced several police departments to develop policies as well as the language judiciary. And then the other section, give out business cards. We have to give out business cards, and this is something that Chief Ashman do all the time. We don't find this to be too burdensome. The other part is the gang database, where we want some due process in that, and for when somebody is put in a gang database, for them to be notified that they are in a gang database. The police said that they don't want to do that because that might prevent that individual from committing a crime if they know they're in a gang database. And so, obviously, we think that's a good thing. And then the other thing is, that's not. Any individual suspected of being involved in gang notification is simple requirement of due process law him or her to appeal that designation. This is particularly important because of the gang enhancement law that's been passed in the state. And there's one quick thing that I think Mayor Kay is about to speak about. The